And finally tonight we remember music legend Doc Watson, who died last night at age 89. He was born and lived most of his life in Deep Gap, North Carolina, became blind as an infant and didn't record an album until his 40s, but Watson's guitar playing and singing helped define and influence the sound of folk and bluegrass music for several generations. Here he is in two clips, first at the beginning of his recording career and later at his home in 1972 with banjo great Earl Scruggs and members of their families.
Let it rain, let it pour, let it rain a whole lot more, Lord. I got them deep river blues. Let the rain drive right on, let the waves sweep along, Lord. I got them deep river blues. Going up Cripple Creek, going in a run, going up Cripple Creek to have some fun. I roll my britches legs up to my knees and away to old Cripple Creek as long as I bleed. Take her home, Earl. That was taken home.
And with me now is Katie Daly, host of a daily program on Bluegrass Country, a music broadcast on WAMU radio here in Washington, D.C. Katie, we're watching those performances and you see the famous picking. Tell us about the picking styles that he was famous for.
Well, first finger picking, but also for flat picking. And I'm so glad that you included that clip with Earl because Doc did for the guitar what Earl did for the banjo. They took those instruments out of the rhythm section and made them lead instruments. Up until then, the guitar had just been a rhythm instrument, and with his...
Sort of backup, huh?
Yeah, just a backup instrument. And he really started the template for bluegrass, old time, and folk music as a lead instrument.
Now, this was the music he grew up with, his mountain music.
Sure.
But he took it out to a wider audience. How did he do that? How did he get discovered?
Well, he was discovered by Ralph Rensler of the Smithsonian, who in fact helped Bill Monroe restart his career. And Ralph told him, unplug that guitar, throw that electric guitar away that you're using.
Which he was playing for a while, right?
He was playing in a country band and go on the road. And Ralph was able to book him into different folk festivals and colleges and things, and he became an instant hit.
He became a kind of authenticity to a folk music at the time in the early 60s, right?
Right, and right up till the end, he was authentic. Boy, he was North Carolina. The stories, the accent, the music. His longtime playing partner, David Holt, said he could take a new song and make it sound ancient and take an old song and put a new twist on it.
When I first saw him, as I suspect for many people who saw him, it was with his longtime partner, his son Merle. I didn't realize that Merle had started playing as a young boy, 15.
I think he hid it from his dad. Maybe Doc was on the road and came home.
He didn't know how old his son was, or his playing.
Didn't know that Merle was playing, and then they went on the road together and played together, I believe, from 64 to 85 when Merle was killed tragically in a tractor accident.
And so what was that partnership like?
Well, you know, I worked with Doc a few times, introducing him at Wolf Trap and other venues, and I never heard Merle talk, so I can't tell you, but boy, could they make music together.
Yeah. When Merle did die, one of the things that Doc Watson did was found the Merle Fest in his honor, right?
Merle
Which has
Fest.
become a huge thing. Tell us about that.
I think it's in about its 25th year, and Doc was there in April and did perform a few songs. It swells the town of Wilkes-Barre. About 80,000 participants show up, 90 bands, all different styles, because Doc really was embraced and cherished by country, by folk, by bluegrass, by rockabilly, the blues. He could do it all.
What was he like as a person and performer?
Well, you know, he was very quiet and humble, but I don't think you could say that about his playing. His attack has been described as fierce, and it really was Doc who laid down the template for these different styles to be a flat picker, a lead instrument.
And you got the last word here on his legacy. How do you think he'll be remembered?
With love.
With love. All right, Katie Daly, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And there's more online, including an interview with Doc Watson done by my colleague Mike Melia last year. You'll find that on our homepage.